Welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to understand about the Terraform resource meta argument for each, right? So if a resource or a module block includes a for each argument whose value is a map or a set of strings, Terraform will create one instance for each member of that map or set. So each instance has a distinct infrastructure object associated with it, and each is separately created, updated, or destroyed. Even though the resource or a module is a single module, using them we will be able to create multiple resources when our argument value is a map or a set of strings. So that is what the for each meta argument is used for inside a resource or a module. With that said, in blocks where for each is set, an additional each object is available in expressions. So you can modify the configuration of each instance using this each object. So in this you will have something called each.key and then each.value. So the each.key, the map key, it is also called the map key or the set member corresponding to this instance. In the same way, each.value, it's the map value corresponding to that instance. So if a set was provided, this is the same as the each.key. In simple terms, if you use maps, each.key and then each.value are something like key value pairs. But if we are using a set of strings, then each.key is equal to each.value. So let's see what it is. Okay. So for set of strings, each.key is equal to each.value. So how you define a set of strings using for each argument inside a resource or a module block is like this. Okay, for underscore each is equal to toSet and then set of strings here. Okay, so in this, if you say each.key, Jack will come, or each.key, James will come, one after the other in the loop. But here there will be no concept of each.value. So both are same. Each.key is equal to each.value when you are using the set of strings. In the same way, when you use maps, right? So each.key and then each.value is separate. So how you see, like you define a tags for AWS instance or anything. So in for each, this is the map you are defining. So in for each and then dev is equal to my dapp bucket. Okay. So here each.key will be dev and each.value will be my dapp bucket. So that's about the maps. So in simple terms, so this is a very important point here. So for set of strings, each.key is equal to each.value. So there is no difference inside that, which is nothing but the same Jack will be the same for each.key and each.value. But here for maps, each.key will be the left side one key and then each.value will be the right side one. And module support for each is included from Terraform 0.13 onwards. And finally, same statement as count also, that a given resource or a module block cannot use both count and then for each. So now if you see all this together, what are we going to do the practicals here, right? So we need to do two demos. Okay, so one for each with set of strings and another for each with maps. Okay, so let's go ahead and then see that now. So use case 1 we are going to implement with for each with maps. Okay, so use meta argument for each with maps to create multiple S3 buckets using single resource. So this is what we are going to do as part of use case 1 for each maps. Okay, so we'll create a AWS S3 bucket resource and we will create a for each block, means like the for each argument we will write it here with separate buckets for each environment. So here the environment will be dev, QA, staging and then prod, and the bucket names like this. Okay, my dapp bucket, my qapp bucket and then my sapp bucket. And for this S3 bucket, whenever you are creating, you will create the bucket is equal to each.key with each.value. So which means your bucket name will be dev hyphen my hyphen dapp hyphen bucket. So that's about it. So we have defined the for each here and then the bucket name is each.key hyphen each.value. In the same way, tags also, if you want to see what the values are coming, if you want to just verify. So environment, you can say each.key, and bucket name also you can put it in the tag, and what is coming inside each dot value, this is the value it should come, right? Just for testing you can try these things. So once you create these things and then apply Terraform, apply, and then see, these buckets will be created. So as usual, the for each meta argument is changing the behavior of the resource AWS S3 bucket. So single resource AWS S3 bucket is able to create multiple buckets or multiple resources with resource instances, you can say. So all these buckets, whatever here creating, are AWS S3 bucket instances. So that's what about for each maps example we are going to implement. In the same way, we'll go ahead and also implement the set of strings example. So use meta argument for each with set of strings to create multiple IAM users using single resource. So in this also, if you see here, resource is AWS IAM user, and if the for each block with two set, you are creating tjack, tjames, tmadhu, tdev, okay, and name is equal to each dot key. As we said, there will be no value concept here. Each dot key is equal to each dot value. So the name of the user you are going to give is each dot key. So every user will be taken from here in the for loop to be implemented, and once it is created, it is going to look like this. Okay, so I appended here t so that all the users whatever created here with this example, you can see them in a username sorted way in a line. Okay, so that's what I just put it t in front of every name here. That's about it. So these two examples we are going to implement as part of the resource for each in a step-by-step manner. So I'll see you in the next lecture with use case 1. Until then, bye bye. Thank you.